Welcome to Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Vantage West, offering Wildcat fans a wide array of personal and business banking products while delivering members more opportunity and more personalized service.
Welcome to Wildcat Weekly, brought to you by Vantage West Credit Union with head coach Rich Rodriguez. The Wildcats getting set for their first conference road game in Eugene against the Oregon Ducks. But coach, the buzz, of course, has been about the great win over Cal Bears. Just a fantastic game, one of those memorable finishes. When you've gone back to look at the tape now after the game, what was the scene like? Because you were there, of course. Do you remember everything that happened?
Well, as a head coach, you're obviously thrilled to get the win because we were really out of it, but then you're also like disappointed that we played so poorly at times. And you got to give them some credit, but you know, to give our guys a little bit of credit, they didn't quit, they hung in there, and certainly at the fourth quarter when we had to execute, we did. But we were very lucky to get that one, that's for sure. 36
points in the fourth quarter, school record, scored every time you touched the football, and it looked like you had to score every time you touched the football.
Yeah, you know, we weren't playing well defensively. We gave up some big plays, and then offensively, we weren't really executing. We were just off. It almost seemed like a first game. We made some kind of first game mistakes. It was our fourth game of the year, and again, you got to give Cal some credit, but you know, Anu got settled down. Our quarterback got settled down in the fourth quarter. We made a few big plays. Got a little lucky with the onside kick. Got a little lucky with the turnover. But then you got to make a play at the end and win it, and we did.
Caleb Jones named Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week. 13 catches, fantastic game. But for a senior in Austin Hill to catch the winning pass and 8 catches on top of that, a great game for him. And is that even more meaningful for Austin?
I think it was. You know, the fact that he set out, and it was a tough injury for anybody, particularly a skilled player, and he was coming off such a big year, and for him to end the game like that, he'll be a memory that he'll enjoy, his family will enjoy, and certainly all the fans that were there or watching it will enjoy for a long, long time.
On defense, Scooby Wright had another outstanding game. He's collected now, 32 tackles in the last 2 ball games. To say that he's playing at his best, would that be an understatement?
No, he is, and thankfully, he's been our most consistent player defensively. I mean, he's playing in the middle linebacker position. He's moved around a little bit. He's been playing defensive end to get pressure on the quarterback, and again, he's been our most consistent guy over there, and he's helped us out in some areas where we were lacking a little bit. And we've got to get better defensively, but Scooby's been our most consistent guy, and I think he's playing at an all Pac-12 level.
There was a lot of talk before the season about how the defensive coordinators around the league would probably be tearing their hair out fairly early on. What evidence have you seen to change that, or is it going to change?
It's tough. It's tough to be a defensive coordinator anywhere in college football nowadays, but especially in our league. You got 10 of the 12 starting quarterbacks coming back, and they're all good players, and there's skilled players out here that's unprecedented in the Pac-12, I think. You know, I've only been in the league a few years, but everybody's been around longer than I have said this is the best and the most talented offensive skilled players they've ever seen in our league. And guys can throw, their systems are kind of unique, and you gotta, every week you gotta prepare for a different system, it seems like. So it's tough, and it's not only tough on those coordinators, it's tough on those defensive players, and that's where we're lacking in depth. And the next few years in recruiting, we'll get our depth to the point where we can play more guys defensively, and that should help us.
You're gonna face one of those offensive teams next in Eugene. Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks beat them here last year, which was a huge win for the program. Anything in particular you're looking forward to in the meeting this year?
Well, I wish Mariota came out. You know, he should have came out with the first pick in the draft. He's without question, I think, one of the best players, not the best player in college football, maybe in the last couple of years. He's going to be the first pick in the draft, in my opinion, and playing at an extremely high level. And he's the key to everything. But they have other good players as well. And we played really well last year, of course. We had no turnovers, very few negative yardage plays, got a couple of turnovers on defense, and everything went right for us. And we know that's going to be tough to duplicate that. But we can't do it, and we got to do it in a tough environment if we want to win.
You have a veteran offensive line this year. I wanted to ask you about one guy in particular, and that's your left tackle, Mickey Baucus. 42 starts, number 43 will come in Eugene, and how much that has meant for your coaching staff to have him here when you arrived and to be such a steady guy.
Yeah, he's been a rock for us, you know, and he's battled through some injuries, and he's always there. I think he's playing his best football right now. He understands our system. He's been a really good leader for our team, and so, you know, Mickey and Fabian's at the outside tackle positions, we've been pretty solid with that, and Mickey, as you mentioned, has been a consistent guy and playing his best football for us.
Well, speaking to Mickey Baucus, we're going to talk to him next as we continue Wildcat Weekly right after this.
Join Vantage West Credit Union as we support Rich Rodriguez on his quest to bring home a championship. Follow the coach at vantagewest.org/blueprint.
Welcome to Wildcat Football Weekly, presented by Vantage West, offering Wildcat fans a wide array of personal and business banking products while delivering members more opportunity and more personalized service.
We continue with Wildcat Weekly, a presentation of Vantage West Credit Union. Pleased to be joined by senior left tackle Mickey Baucus, a proud member of Mundelein, Illinois, out here in his 5th year. And Mickey, it's been a great season so far for you guys, so congratulations on the start. But before we get to this season, talk about your career at Arizona. It's been a very interesting one. You've been a mainstay on this program, 42 starts, which, by the way, is the most of any active player on the team. So can you summarize your career as a Wildcat?
It's definitely been a long journey, a long road. You know, I've been out there a while, but it's been a great experience out there, you know, with my teammates and growing from early on in my career as a freshman to where I'm at now as a senior, and hopefully this season we can continue to build on our start and do some big things. All right,
what has been the key to a 4-0 start for the Wildcats in your mind?
Just never giving up. We haven't always executed perfectly, but we've always gone out there and done enough and find a way to win. So if we go out there and just execute and do what we're coached to do, hopefully we'll be able to build on our 4-0 start and keep winning games.
Now, of course, the question that everyone asks, and it'll be talked about for years, you know, where were you for Hail Mary? We know where you were, but when did you realize that the touchdown had been scored?
It took me a couple seconds after, you know, after he caught the ball. I really wasn't sure if he caught it or not. I was at the right on the A, in the middle of the field, and I saw the big commotion down the sideline. I was, you know, holy cow, we caught that thing. I was in shock. And I was tired. I just laid down right in the middle of the field, and it was kind of a moment of disbelief.
Did you have any sense in the huddle, or is it you knew it was one of those plays where it usually doesn't work, but occasionally it does?
Yeah, we you know, we run it one time per week at the end of practice on Thursday, just in case we're in a situation, and you know, we happen to be in the situation. So I was just thinking, I looked over to Kamen and said, you know, be ready to take this guy if he comes inside, because I'm making sure he doesn't get the corner to who I knew. And he just chucked it up there and it worked. So,
you know, it's amazing, over your 4 years, you've had a chance to protect 4 different quarterbacks now, from Nick Foles to Matt Scott to B.J. Dinker and now to Anu Solomon. Is there any difference in who the quarterback happens to be behind you?
Not really. I mean, at least we try not to think about it. Obviously, in the back of your mind, you kind of know, you know, Nick is going to hang back there and throw it a little bit. Matt and DJ, they had some wheels; they could take off and run. Anu's a little more like Nick; he likes to throw it a little more. So, schematically and things like that, it's not really different. But in the back of your mind, you kind of know what his tendencies are. So, you know, later on when plays break down, you know what they're trying to do.
One of your fellow linemen, Fabian Zebeli, has been starting with you over these last 4 years. Has there been there's obviously a kinship between offensive linemen, but because you two guys have been there now for 4 years as starters, is there anything special between the two of you? You're at the opposite end of the line, so you don't see one another on the plays, but obviously you do throughout the week.
Yeah, you know, our lockers are right next to each other in the locker room, and we kind of just been in this journey together. Ever the first day I met him on campus, you know, we had that connection, both being from Chicago, and we've just been good friends ever since. You know, we like to, you know, give each other some crap and razz each other a little bit, but you know, we just have each other's back, and you know, that's what's important, especially across the offensive line.
All right, the win over California will obviously go down as one of your great memories, I'm sure. But a year ago, when Oregon came to Tucson, that was a great man, will always be a great memory as well. What do you remember about that ball game? What were some of the keys to putting up 42 points on the Ducks?
Just you know, playing hard nosed. You know, we're gonna run this ball kind of football. You know, we knew we had to run it in order to be successful. They still do have a pretty darn good secondary, and you know, we had to play physical and up front and you know, keep the ball out of the hands of their offense, and we did that. We played a great game in all 3 phases, and ended up being able to take it down. Same thing. We just got to go out there and execute. You know, score when we have the opportunity to, not turn the ball over, create turnovers, just play a complete game.
Mickey Baucus, senior left tackle for the Wildcats. He and his teammates will be in Eugene at Autzen Stadium on Thursday night as the Wildcats take on the Oregon Ducks. That game will kick off at 7:30. Thanks for joining us for Wildcat Weekly. We're here next week as well to take a look ahead as the Wildcats host USC.
This is our house, you understand that? This is our people, our student section, our house. Tonight, they need to fill our program for 60 minutes. 60 minutes of habit. Put pressure on them on every snap. Or you play 60 minutes with Arizona. Better put a little more tape on them.